right, so now the next story gets into the next saga, or the next chapter of the saga of the Stream Wars. All right, so now, Roku stock tumbles as analysts say modest beats fail to justify massive rally. The latest numbers were less impressive than the elevated share price required. All right, so now Roku, who was going to be the first device to have access to Apple TV Plus besides Apple TV, they did beat, but not enough. A lot of hype. Remember, folks, this is the Stream Wars. So I need to say that. The Stream Wars. Now you're going to make that? Okay. And Roku's playing a part. They were the first ones to come out with a device all in one to look at all of the different streaming services. And again, it was going to be big having that Apple Plus as part of it. Though both revenue and earnings came in ahead of estimates for its latest quarter, the beats were smaller than what Roku recorded earlier in the year. The internet streaming company also delivered a mixed outlook. The stock was down 12% Thursday in morning trading. All right, Rich says he just bought a 70-inch Roku TV. All right, so now let's take a look. What else is in the Stream Wars? All right, that was one story on the Stream Wars. What else is in there? Netflix. Netflix rolling out 43 original series in November. That's huge. You know why Netflix is doing that? Because Disney is now getting into this space. What does Disney have over all of these? A lot of content. And they've got access to, or in their vaults, they've got more content than all of these put together. Netflix is rolling out 43 original series in November. That's huge. That is huge. In November, here's what's coming and what's going. Netflix bolsters its lineup as rival services from Apple, Disney prepare to launch. All right, so that's all you need to know about this. But 43 new original series coming out, right? Let's talk about what else is in this space. Disney reports today. All right, I don't know, it hasn't happened yet, but Walt Disney does report today. Here's what to expect. Walt Disney management has had a lot to juggle lately. You know what else Disney is doing? They're putting a lot of money into advertising. How many of you have seen the commercials on TV about Disney's new streaming service? They're putting a lot of money into their advertising budget. Integration and enormous acquisition, launching its streaming service and keeping its movie, TV, and theme park business firing all at once. Disney is a big conglomerate of entertainment. It has given investors plenty to process as well. Disney is an even larger and more complex than it was a year ago, with different factors underpinning its performance. So, in this, Disney is ramping up. I still haven't seen, the commercials are coming out, but I still haven't seen it yet. I don't know if it's available. I don't think that it's available, but it's coming out soon.
13th, I think.
Huh?
I think the 13th.
The 13th. So they're getting hot and heavy, ramping up. And who else is in this space? Oh, Apple. How about that? Apple, $4.99 streaming services here. How does it stack up against what? Amazon, Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Disney. This is why we call this the Stream Wars. There's a lot of moving parts in all of these streaming companies trying to get your business, my business, and even Joey's business. They're even going after Joey to get his business. And Joey's already saying they're going to get him too. I think that anybody who has kids like Joey does, Joey, you got 3, all youngins, Disney is going to be a good, viable way to keep hopped up kids sitting down, right? Think about it. Looking at a lot of the stuff on Disney, oh, well, look at that, and then you look at that, and guess what? You keep them quiet for a while. But I think that a lot of people who have families, have little kids, Disney is going to be a way to go. But for us older people, I love my Amazon and I love my Netflix. I have Hulu, but I hardly ever use it because I still do have cable. But my Amazon, my Netflix, my Fire Stick, all of that. I just found out last night that we can actually do YouTube on my Fire Stick. Man, who knows that? I don't always know it, but now I do. But look at that. You know, Disney does have Star Wars. What?
Everybody knows that.
I didn't know that it had YouTube on there. Star Wars is huge. Probably one of the most widely sold series ever in movie kind. And guess what? Disney has it. All right, so now let's look at those stocks. So we got the stories on them. Let's look at those stocks. So we're going to look at Amazon. We're going to look at Apple. We're going to look at Disney, Netflix, Roku. That's enough. So 5 stocks there. Amazon, let's go real quick. $17.99, $7.55, overvalued. People are willing to pay a premium to own it. Apple, $2.60, value, $2.24, a little bit higher over its value. People are willing to pay a premium. Disney, people are willing to pay a premium over its value. Netflix, all of these stocks are going up and up and up over their values. People are willing to pay a premium to own these stocks. Same thing with Roku. Now, the thing about Roku, though, Roku and Disney are the only two that have negative earnings. All right, no, actually, only Roku has negative earnings. Disney is growing their earnings at a negative rate. Let's look at Amazon. Earnings per share, $27, growing their earnings 32% a year. Apple, positive earnings, not growing their earnings, though. Disney, positive earnings, growing their earnings in a negative way, and a lot of that is because of acquisitions, trying to grow that business before they go and release their streaming services. All right? Netflix, growing their earnings 27% a year. Let's go look at the relative value on Amazon. Above the value of 1, good upside potential. Apple, not so good as far as long-term holding. Disney, right now, not so good as far as long-term holding. Netflix, above the value of 1, should outperform that AAA corporate bond. And Roku is just not that good. This stock should not be held for the long term based upon its relative value. Relative safety, stock's ability to meet or exceed earnings expectations. Amazon, most likely will meet earnings. Apple, most likely will meet earnings. Disney, remember, the higher above 1, the safer the stock, the less volatile the stock. Netflix, above 1. Roku, again, another indicator below the value of 1. Is the stock in an uptrend? Relative timing. Below 1 on Amazon, not in an uptrend. But Apple, definitely way in an uptrend. The stock is moving to all-time highs, even if long-term it doesn't look so good. Disney, not quite at our RT of 1, slightly below. Netflix, slightly above. Again, Roku, the worst out of all of these right now, under the relative value way below 1, relative safety below 1, relative timing below 1, VST below 1, and out of the streaming services, Roku has the lowest of all 3. All right, the lowest of all 3. I got you, Kev. All right, now let's look at their graphs. Before we do that, out of the stocks here, Apple is the only buy that is highlighted. Let's right-click. Let's view the stock graph. Let's bring this over. Amazon, 1-year graph. Look at it. All right, still trending down a little bit from the high. Why am I moving averages not up there? It's taking a bit. The stock is trending down. I'd like to see it break through the trend. Let's draw a freehand line connecting the highs. Look at that. It did break through. It did break through. That's a good thing. Let's darken that line up a little bit. Style. Make that a little darker. The stock did break through the downtrend, start to move up, coming off of this level of a low. Ooh, let me show you a candlestick pattern. What's that candlestick pattern off the low? Dang it, put it on 3 months. What's that candlestick pattern off the low? It's called a hammer. That is called a hammer. Roku has the best CI with all the other bad numbers. How does it get such a high CI? I'm going to show you that in a second, Audie, when we look at the graphs. All right, when we get to look at the graphs. Amazon, though, in the last 3 months, starting to move higher. 3 and 8 are positive. Would love to see the stock take out that 3-month high before I jump on board. But the 3 and 8 are in place. Let's put on the 20-day exponential moving average. For a longer-term hold, it is above the 20-day as well. Let me right-click. Oh, man. I got a lot of stuff going on. It won't let me right-click. That's fine. Let's go to the next stock. Watch the earnings on Amazon as well. Next stock. Apple looks good. All right, Apple, remember long-term it didn't look so good because of the relative value, but look at the price action on the stock over the last 3 months. Stock is altogether hitting all-time new highs. The stock's earnings per share is higher than it was 3 months ago, but look at that equity curve. Holy smokes. As far as the streaming is concerned, this is one of the best stocks that you'll see in here. Let's go. Question was about Roku. I'm going to get to that. All right. I know Apple, I'm liking Apple as a trade. Just to let you know that, look at a new high coming off of 3 days of dojis. I'm liking that stock. We'd like to see more volume kicking in with that, but I'm liking that trade, especially staying above the 20-day exponential moving average. Disney, same kind of scenario, connect the highs. Stock just got out of a downtrend. All right, starting to move up. Another hammer formation right here. The 3 and the 8, let's see if the 3 and the 8 have crossed. Take off the 20. The 3 and the 8 crossed a couple of days ago and now moving higher. I like this as a trade. You know why? This stock has got good upside potential, at least to that level of the high. It's got at least good, and that would be a good profit target. 140.08, right now at 132. I got some money to make. And guess what? I'm thinking that if the hype is all what it is, when the Disney service, streaming service does come out, the stock has got upside potential. Should take out that level of the 3-month high very, very quickly. How to draw the trend line too far right. All I did was click on freehand line, and I can draw any line anywhere I want to. All right, that's just how you do it. Make sure you have the free line up there. But I am liking that Disney might have a really good opportunity to run up. Watch the earnings, though. A lot of that, though, is a lot of the acquisitions that they've done, a lot of the advertising. That's where the money is going. Netflix, for the most part, is doing what? Moving sideways. Netflix is still the big boy on the block. Everybody's going after Netflix, to include Disney. Disney's going after Netflix with their breadth of content. But right now, Netflix is moving sideways. Earnings per share is moving up. I definitely wait for the stock to get out of its own way. The 3 and the 8 look good. The stock is moving up. Look at today's activity. Look at the big wick at the top of the candle. That's a lot of selling pressure on today alone. No, one day doesn't make a trend, but that's a lot of selling pressure on just today by itself. And then we get to Roku. Now, Roku, the question is, how does it have a high CI? Look at the stock. It pulled back here, but look at most recently. Look at the stock, not pulling back nearly as much as it was back here. CI will be higher because it looks at the stock's ability to withstand longer lengthy price declines. If the stock continues to decline at this rate, the CI will lower. The CI will lower. All right. Look at Netflix's earnings per share. I agree. Earnings per share on Netflix is beautiful. They are making money. Even though they may be bleeding, and I don't know if they're still bleeding subscribers because they did run up on price. I don't know if they're still bleeding subscribers, but that was a big effect back here. When they did raise the rate, they got hit. And since then, they've staved off the downtrend and moving sideways. But the earnings per share, you're right, is absolutely on point. All right, any other, don't forget, oh, and remember, subscribe, share, and like. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the software or would like refresher information about the software, click on this Getting Started video right here. Thanks to all of your input, here's a YouTube video that we think would be perfect for you. Click right here. If nothing else, folks, just hit the subscribe button right here.